Hello, everyone. Welcome to Saturday Sonder Social. I'm so excited to be with you all for the weekly setup. I am Malika. For those of you who haven't seen me before, I'm dialing in from San Francisco, California. And it's been a rainy few days. It's been a rainy weekend up here in the Bay. But it's perfect because what else better to do than set up our journals together? So I'm very excited to be here with you all. And joining me is the one and the only Katie, who is coming on. She's giving you a big old wave. I'm super, super excited to have her join us. She's dialing in from Edinburgh, Scotland. So we are going international, I guess. So we're very, very excited to have you. Everybody say hello to Katie. She is I'm so excited to have her join us tonight. But before we get started, if there's anyone who is new to Sonder Socials, go ahead and shout yourselves out in the chat. Just say, I'm new. We're so excited to have newbies, but I see a lot of familiar names in the chat. So welcome, welcome to all you folks returning. Charlotte, welcome. Julia, welcome. Amazing, amazing. We love to see new folks. So we're so excited to have you get started with us in Sonder Social. It's so much fun. And amazing. Caitlin, we have Jocelyn. Wonderful. Welcome. All right. So before we get started, make sure to set your chat to everyone. That's the way we communicate here in Sonder Socials. And if you just post to host and panelists, you're only sending your chats to myself and Katie, which we love to read what you write, but we would love everyone else to see what you're writing. So that is just a little precursor. And to toggle it, you'll see on your chat bubble that everyone toggle, just go ahead and set that to everyone. All right. So, since we have some new folks, I'll quickly run through the community guidelines because they're quite important since this is one of our main ways to communicate with the community. So, make sure to be kind and courteous to yourself and others. This is not a place for promo or spam. Make sure to respect everyone's privacy. No hate speech or bullying. Any product and accessory questions or customer care inquiries, surface that to hello@silkensonder.com. And just remember that Sonder socials are a tool to really have us all connect with each other and get the most out of our journals. So, it's obviously you can do this on your own, but this is a way to get some ideas to really make use of that journal and have it tailored to you. So we'll walk through a lot of different ways to repurpose, a lot of different things that we could do for each of these sections together. So with that, we'll now start talking about nostalgia. So I love nostalgia. I always like to read the definition for the theme. I do that for every social, just as a reminder of like what this theme really is. And nostalgia is defined on page 3, a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. So we're really kind of going into that space of what brings us joy, what brings us those happy memories. I started the social with a song from a band that was really near and dear to me when I was younger. I loved listening to The Fray. It was one of my favorite bands growing up. So that's what I started the social with. And I feel like it's such a fun way to also remember that was my first concert I had ever gone to when I was little. It was very special to me. So that was also fun to kind of think about the fray for a little bit. So I want you all to keep that in mind because we'll start off with the nostalgia mind map where we'll drill into a focus area about nostalgia. And for those of you who have not come to other weekly setups this month, that's totally fine. You can screen grab the slide and you can always revisit week 1's question and week 2's question. And for this social, we'll focus on week 3. Then we'll move into our rosebud thorn. Then we'll move into our weekly setup, and then we will close out the social. All right, so that's kind of the agenda. And then for the mind map, so this can be done on a separate page. So if you haven't started, you will basically be creating like a space where you have your nostalgia mind map, and then you focus on your week 3. If you have started and you have your mind map already from your past weeks, go ahead and bring that up. And for this week, we're going to focus on the question: are there memories from your past that could help you rediscover who you are? So maybe take a deep breath and maybe close your eyes and think about some memories from your past that helped you kind of go down a different path, that helped you discover who you truly were meant to be. It can be something that happened to you. Maybe there was a person in your life. Maybe it was a conversation you had with somebody. Think about what those memories are in your life. Obviously, we have a ton of memories, so it's hard to drill it down to just a few. But try to think about some memories that stand out in your mind as you think about your past that help shape who you are today. So I'll give everyone a few minutes, and then if you feel comfortable, go ahead and share with us in the chat um, what memories you have in your life that helped you define who you are today. I just want to take a moment and say thank you all for folks who shared in the chat. I love just kind of getting a glimpse of your lives, and I think it's pretty incredible what you all have gone through. It's not easy to start a new chapter. It's not easy to go through something really tough and feel, come out from the other side, but also feel like, there's so much that you need to do. And I think you all are incredible, incredible people. And that's why I love this community, honestly. Like, you guys are just so incredible, and I'm very, very inspired by all of your stories and all of your lives. So thank you so much for sharing. And we will now move on to one of my favorite activities. I know it's a fan favorite at Silicon Sonder HQ, and that is the Rosebud Thorn. So, if folks have come to my weekly setups before, they know that I always share my rosebud thorn for the week with all of you. It's just something I love to do. And my week changes all the time. So let me just explain what rosebud thorn is. And this is going to be on the bottom of your Sunday of like this week. So I guess tomorrow will be kind of the last day of the week. And that is going to be on page, I think 44. Yeah, bottom of page 44. And for this rosebud thorn, your rose is something that's going well, like a highlight or something that you're really grateful for that's happened in the past week. A bud is something that is a new and emerging opportunity, something new on the horizon. And your thorn is a challenge or something that you've been struggling with. So my rose is, because of the time change, I've been sleeping way earlier, which is honestly really important because I do wake up super early for work. So it's been really, really helpful to just have like better energy levels, and just feeling like I'm constantly getting good rest. My bud is I am just ready for 2024. I think I'm just ready for a lot of change. I think I've had a pretty up and down year, and I'm just ready to invite a lot more change in my life, and I'm ready for that new chapter. So I'm gearing up for it. I think I'm going to put in some work, get prepped, and just really go full force in all the things that I want to change about my life in my 2024. And my thorn is I am just feeling very undervalued at my job, and I've been sick all week. I got strep throat this week, which is not fun at all. I was just working like crazy and just working through it, even though I was like miserable and had strep all week. So, and I still have it, and I'm on antibiotics. So, just doing the best I can. And I'm glad that you can't hopefully hear it in my voice, which is good. But yes, strep is awful. I've never had it before. So I am glad that hopefully I'm on the mend. But that is my rosebud thorn, and I'll give you all a few moments to write out your rosebud thorn on page 44. And if you feel inclined to share, go ahead and type in the chat. I already see folks doing it, so thank you. And I'll check in a few minutes. All right. Thank you all for sharing your rosebud thorn. I know it is hard to deal with some challenges. I feel some of us are dealing with some health challenges, and it's never fun. But if anything, just make sure to give yourself that extra love and attention. Those thorns really help us shift our focus and remember, where we need a little extra love. And that's part of life. We have roses and we have thorns, and so it's good to acknowledge both. But all right, we will now move on to the weekly planner, the weekly setup pages. So go ahead and flip the page to page 46, which is where we'll start. And we'll start off at that box at the top, which is this week I want to feel. So, here are some words that you can use as inspiration, but here are some examples as well. We have a lot of different ways to set this up. You could set it up as a word, a single word, a phrase. There's no right way to set this up, but basically, it is your intention of how you want to feel. So, go ahead and take a moment, try to think of what that feeling is, and go ahead and type it in the chat once you've figured out how you want to feel. So this week, how do you want to feel? Chris wants to feel celebratory. Yes, I love it. Um, There's so many good ways to set this up. I feel like I want to feel probably healthy. I feel like I just want to feel healthy. I realize I am not feeling great with vegan strep throat. So that's how I want to feel. I want to feel healthier. And I see, all right, here we have positive, content, determined, grateful, peace, productive, healthier, common gratitude, thankful, peaceful, magical, energetic. Love it. I know we have Thanksgiving coming around the corner, so definitely want to incorporate some gratitude as well a lot more this week. Thank you all for sharing what your word is, what your intention is for those feelings. We will now move on to the weekly major three goals. Sorry. And for this section, I'm going to walk you through a couple different ways you can set this up. You see a ton of examples on the screen. Um, so one of the options is to use that feeling that you've already written down and craft your goals to help support how you want to feel. So you can definitely take it that approach. You can also write down any three goals that are top of mind that are what you want to accomplish this week, your major three goals. And it can be three things you want to do this week. It can be some goals you want to accomplish. Maybe there were a few goals that you had last week that you want to introduced this week. Maybe you have a personal challenge. Maybe you don't have three goals and you just want to put a quote. There's no right or wrong way to set this up. So I'll give you all a few minutes to set up your three goals. And if you feel like you want to share, go ahead and share one or three of your goals this week in the chat. right. Thank you for sharing some of your goals. They all sound incredible. So this is really, really exciting. I think what I love about this section is the hardest part is thinking about what those goals are, and then once you write them down, it's almost like you're halfway there because you've already identified what you wanna do, and that's kind of the hardest part. So, we will now move on to the weekly to-do section. So I'll walk through a few different ways you can set this up. You can set this up through this Eisenhower matrix here, which is such a fun way to do it. You can set it up where it'll help you prioritize your to-dos on what's important and what is urgent. And these little boxes of do, decide, delegate, and delete. Delete is any distractions that you want to remove. Delegate are any things that you can offload on people that you work with or people in your life that can help you and support you in some tasks. Decide are any decisions that you need to make, and do are like your actual to-dos. So that's a great way to prioritize. You can also see some examples on the right where you can break it up by category, which is a great way. And then also this is the need, want, and hope to-do list. So maybe you don't have a lot of to-dos, but maybe there's a lot of things that you want to do. Maybe you're feeling like you want to dream a little bit more this week. I think I'm going to set up my to-do list as need, want, hope to-do list this week because I feel like I'm just like in that dreamer state. I'm like ready to make my vision board for 2024. As I said in my bud, is I'm ready for 2024. So I'm going to set it up this way this week, but it's a great way to kind of identify what you want to call in, what you're hoping for. And then you can also repurpose this as like a morning and evening routine. Maybe you want to focus on that morning and evening routine, especially with the time change. You want to make sure that you have those routines down to help signal your morning and your evening. It helps you kind of transition from nighttime to daytime, daytime to nighttime. That's a great way to do this section. You can also use this as a bingo board if you want to make it more fun. You can always cross it off with stickers or markers, whatever is calling you. And then you can also set this up as a to-do list. To-do basically is as you go through your week, if you go through anything challenging, giving yourself that little gold star to give yourself a little bit more recognition of what you're doing and that you did something really tough and giving yourself that little bit of love. So that's the to-do aspect of the to-do list. So there's a couple different ways I've kind of outlined how you can set up your to-do list. I'll give you all a few minutes to set up your to-do list and then we'll move on to the habit and activity section next. All right. We will now move on to the habit and activity section. So that's that last section on this page, which is a fun one. So I'm going to show you some examples here. You can definitely take inspiration as you see fit. But for this section, basically just outline any habits or activities you want to track. I know this is kind of a weird week because most of us are going to be with our families, and I know I typically put a lot of health goals in here, but frankly, there's probably going to be a little bit of a lull in the later part of the week, and that's totally fine. I'm going to be eating a lot and probably just not really thinking about working out as much, but that is going to be expected, and that's okay. But this is a place where you can put your habits that you want to track. I love these examples here. Some of these examples include actually writing in metrics. So maybe if you feel like you want to track like your weight or your fruit and veggie intake or how much alcohol you drank, all of that, you can definitely keep track of that in that bubble. It doesn't always have to be a cross off. And then I also like this example that also has a little bit of like a night routine in a way. So, kind of making sure that they're doing certain things throughout the week that signal a little bit of like that transition into um, their nighttime. I think that's a really great way to kind of set it up as well, almost like a routine, a checklist in a way. And just remember that when you set up your habit and activity trackers, it's okay to not have every circle filled out. That is not the purpose of the habit and activity section. It's truly to do the best that you can. And we need to make sure that we give ourselves grace because there's no way that we can always be like perfect and get everything done. And that's okay. That's not what life is about. So make sure to give yourself grace for this habit and activity section. And if it doesn't feel like you want to use it this week, that's totally fine. You can always put some stickers on it and, just not use the section as well. So I will give you all a minute or two to set up your habit and activity section before we move on to the next page. right. Thanks for sharing what habits you're tracking this week. I know it's very tricky with the holiday week, so make sure to give yourselves a lot of grace this week because it's not your average week. So it's okay. It's okay to slip up this week. We'll obviously be okay. We'll have our fresh start next week as well. All right. So now I'm going to walk through a few sections on the next page. So go ahead and flip it over. I'm going to walk you through a couple different ways you can set up your meal plan. So for your meal plan, you can set it up in a way where you maybe put your daily affirmations. You can set it up the way it's intended, which is your breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you want a meal prep, you can also use this as a food log if that's more of your calling. You can also set this up as a section where you have like places where you can reflect. You can put appointments in here, which is always a good idea if you have a lot of appointments, doctor's appointments, whatever appointments you have on the calendar this week. You can also use a section to break down a chore. I love this example here where they had to clean the home and they wanted to break it up zone by zone so that it felt a little bit less overwhelming. That's a great way to do it. You can also use this section as a place where you reflect on the 7 types of rest, which is always a great idea. And also, you can use a section as a place where you want to plan out your outfits. If you're going on vacation or if you're going somewhere for the holidays, that's a great way to repurpose the section as well. There's so many fun ways to set this up. So I'll give you all a few minutes to set up your meal plan section and type in the chat how you set this up. There's so many different ways you can set this up. So I'd love to hear some examples of how you set this up. And then we'll move on to the shopping, to the mind body health plan and the shopping list next. right. Thank you all for sharing how you set up this section. It's definitely a fun section to repurpose. So I love getting some insight on how you set it up. We'll now move on to, I'm going to walk you through both the Mind Body Health Plan and the shopping list. So you have some time to set it up as you like. For the Mind Body Health Plan, you can really lean in to what's going to best serve you. So you can always maybe focus on one aspect of your health. Maybe you want to focus on your workout routine. So you want to plan out your workouts, but maybe it can be a little bit more holistic and it can include different things that are going to serve, that are going to fill your cup, is like what I like to say. So maybe it's enjoying a warm beverage. Maybe it's giving yourself a manicure. Maybe it's reading a good book and lighting a candle. Maybe it's spending time with people you love. Maybe it's writing a letter to someone really a big who's like a big part of your life, or a letter to an old friend. It can be whatever you need for you to feel your best self. So I love this aspect of the Mind Body Health Plan. It's a great way to kind of carve out a little treat for yourself each day of the week. So that is a great way to set up your Mind Body Health Plan. And then also the shopping list. So here are a ton of different examples. I'm gonna first, obviously, you can set this up as a shopping list. I know Black Friday is around the corner and Cyber Monday, and this is a great place to get organized and ready for those sales. So that's a great way to use your shopping list section. But you can also repurpose it here. I have a ton of different examples. You can, of course, put a quote in there. You can make it into a bingo board. You can set some intentions that you want to focus on. You can make this into a ta-da bingo board. I love that. It can be a place where you can monitor your calmness. I love that. Like one aspect that you want to focus on. Maybe you wanted to feel calm for the week. Maybe you can define how calm you were each day. And then you can also add in just anything. It's really a blank box for you to have for yourself to make sure that you feel like you're getting some space to do what you need. So it can really be repurposed however you'd like. Sometimes I just put a little quote sticker on there and call it a day. So it's really up to you how you want to set this up. So I'll give you all a few minutes to set up both your Mind Body Health Plan and your shopping list, and then we will come back together for the I Am Loving section next. All right. Thank you all for sharing how you set up your mental health plan and what you're including in it. I know this week is not your typical week, so it's important to take that time for yourself and make sure you check in with yourself, especially if we're traveling a little bit or seeing family. It's important to remember to take some time to make sure you're attending to yourself as well. But we will now move on to our last little section, the I am loving section. So, for this section, maybe close your eyes, roll your shoulders back, and just stand up a little bit straighter or sit up a little bit straighter and just take a deep breath and think about what you're currently loving in your life. And maybe it's something that's going well, maybe it's something that that rose really brought up, or maybe there's something else entirely. Think about what you're loving. I know I'm loving going home. I haven't been home in so long, and my flight to Santa Barbara is tomorrow. So I'm very excited to just be home for a little bit. I am a little stressed because I do have to pack, but I will be doing that tonight. And I am excited for some family time. All right. I love it. Yeah, type in the chat. Go ahead and share. Samantha's loving self-care time. Kaylin is loving the next chapter ahead, 2024. I'm right there with you. The excitement of seeing my family, my path, making a difference of who I was when I last moved and who I am this week. Amazing. Starting new adventures. Diving into the holiday season, absolutely. Being able to rest today, love that. There's so many things that are going on. So thank you so, so much for spending this hour with me. Katie's loving library books. I love it. Amazing. There's so many things that are going well in our lives. And I love to end on that note. So with that, thank you for coming. Make sure to share your weekly pages. As you can see, we take all of our inspiration from all of you folks. So make sure to share in Sonder Club how your weekly pages look. And also, here are some codes for you, some QR codes. Referral program is going on. I know it's a time for giving with the holiday season coming up. So make sure to take advantage of that referral code. If you are not on the annual subscription, make sure to check that out as well because you could be saving a ton of money. And if you love Silk and Sonder and it's working for you, go ahead and take advantage of that. We also have that feedback survey, which is really important. It's how we tailor our programming for you all. And so check that out if you have anything. And then Katie will drop in the YouTube link in the chat, and that houses all of our past Sonder social content. So if you're interested in something that you maybe missed earlier in the month or months prior, go ahead and check that out. It's a private YouTube page for all of you folks who have access to all of our past socials. So with that, have a great rest of your week and week. We've already set up the week. You're already ahead of the game. So thank you all for spending this hour with me. I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday evening, and I will see you at the next one. Bye, everybody.
Turn it inside out so I can see the part of you that's drifting